Hi friends, Miss Plummer here. I miss you guys, so I want to make a video for you, my friends that do not have Google Meets with Miss Plummer, just to show you what we've been doing in Google Meets. It's taking us a long time to get our projects done in school, so we've been doing just some really quick things, one-day activities at home. So what I've been doing with second grade is we've been learning about the artist Frida Kahlo from Mexico. And one of the reasons why we've been learning about her is she was one of the first female artists to have her own art show. So that was a really big deal. I also love teaching her right now because of the times. I think I personally really relate to Frida. Frida spent a lot of time at home because she dealt with a lot of illness. When she was younger, she had polio and really struggled to walk. And when she was a teenager, she was in a really bad bus accident. She got hurt very badly, couldn't use her legs, and had to lay in bed for a long time. So what ended up happening, she got really bored. As we know, when we're at home, we're bored. And her mom got her some paint supplies, and she began to paint herself laying in bed. And throughout that time, that kind of helped her build as an artist. And she had a lot of times within her life that she had to do that. In fact, one of her last art shows that she had to go while in bed because she was really sick. So being an artist was really important for her and helped her get through some really tough times. Her art was also very unique because she didn't paint what was in front of her all the time. A lot of her art is what was called surreal art, and in surreal art, it almost seems surreal. It kind of has a dreamlike feel to it. And everything that she was painting related to something that she was feeling at that time. So, for example, let me find a picture of her, a painting that she did. She's actually not in this painting, but in this painting, she's showing how she felt when she moved to New York City from Mexico. So after she married her husband, who was also an artist, they moved to New York City. And in this picture, you can see a lot of the monuments. That's the Statue of Liberty. There's a lot of buildings. A lot of the environment that you would commonly see in New York City at that time. And in that picture, you can see a dress floating, and that's one of Frida's dresses. So in the picture, her dress is here, but Frida's not here. And it's trying to show us that she kind of wants to be somewhere else at that time. And that was home. That was her culture, where she grew up. It's very hard to move away from where you're used to being. So what we're going to do is we're going to be creating an image of somewhere that we want to be. Just like Frida, she drew a picture of that dress floating in New York City because she didn't want to be there. We're going to think of it on the opposite end. We're going to draw a picture of not where we don't want to be, but where we want to be. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute, and I want you to think about, is there something that you have not been able to do for a while? Maybe with the restrictions going on, it's been really tough to do some of the activities that you would normally do. So I want you to think really hard about that, okay? And then I want you to think about, where are you? What are your surroundings? Are there any objects? Are you outside? Are you inside? Okay, so I want you to keep that in your brain because we're going to have to remember that for the next direction. So what we're going to do is a portrait of us with a thought bubble, thinking about where we are. So in mine, and I don't want you to feel like you have to do what I did. I want to see things that are different because that's showing me you understand that you can make it personal to you, just like Frida made her art personal to her. We're going to do a portrait of us with a thought bubble, thinking about where we want to be. So I bet you can figure out where I want to be. Miss Plummer wants to be on the beach, probably the Bahamas or Bermuda. So I don't know if you know this, Miss Plummer got married over the summer. It had to be a little different than I planned because of restrictions. And I wasn't able to go on my vacation. Usually when you get married, you go on a nice vacation. We didn't have it planned yet, but we were kind of thinking of going to Bermuda. So I'm hoping that when restrictions are over with, we can still do that and go on vacation because we love doing that together. But unfortunately, because of restrictions, we can't travel. So that's where I want to be. But maybe there's somewhere else that really in your brain right now. Maybe school with your friends, if you're not in school right now. Think about that. Make it personal to you. So we're just going to do the drawing part and you're going to do the coloring on your own. You can pause this video. I'm going to move quick through it, but pause it if there's a step that you need to slow down with. I'm starting with the bottom portion of my head. At the bottom of my paper, I'm going to do a curve. And that's just like the top of my head. Off of that, I'm going to do the little curves for the bridge of my nose. So I'm going to do a C shape kind of near the middle here, almost like a C. And then I'm going to do the opposite curve in the other direction. So that's the bridge of our nose. Now we're going to do our eyes. So I'm going to do 2 horizontal lines for the bottom part of my eyes. Right now they kind of look like they're closed. If you want to turn it into closed eyes, maybe throw some eyelashes on there, you can. Mine are just kind of open, looking like I'm looking up as I'm thinking. So I'm now going to do a curve off of those. And then to make it look like I'm looking up, I have to draw my eye pupils upwards. So I'm going to do an up curve like this on both sides, with a little filled in dot for the center pupil. Alright, so then we're going to think about our hair. If you have bangs, you're going to want to draw bangs. If you have short hair, draw your hair short. Long hair is going to draw all the way to the bottom of the paper. Mine's longer, so I would have to imagine it would be filling up that paper. I don't have a lot of bangs, but I do have a little hair that comes in my head. So I'm going to start around the outside edge of my head. If you have curly hair, what kind of lines could you do for curly hair? Really think about that. This plumber's just going to find a different marker. You know, mine's pretty straight, but I can maybe do loop-de-loops or wavy lines if I had wavy hair. So I've got my hair like that. Now, one of the mistakes that people do is they just draw the hair at the very top of their head. If you're looking at my hair, it comes down my forehead a little bit too. So I want to draw that. I have what's called a little widow's peak. So I'm going to draw that. If you need to use a mirror at any time just to kind of look and see, you can. But some of us, like I said, we might have bangs. I might have to draw it a little different. Alright, so I'm missing something. It looks a little weird right now. I don't have eyebrows or eyelashes. So I'm going to go in, draw some eyebrows, draw some top eyelashes, and some bottom eyelashes. And then I have this little mole on the top of my head. I'm going to add a little dot in there for that. If you have freckles or anything particular to you that shows your identity, maybe you wear glasses, I don't know. If you have anything extra that's going to make it part of you, go ahead and add that. So we've got the bottom portrait part done. Now we're going to do the bubble. And for the bubble, you're going to include yourself in your thought. And how we're going to do that is by drawing a figure. So we're going to start with simple shapes for the figure. The first shape we're going to draw is our head. And what shape do you guys think you should do for your head? Right, like a circle or an oval. So I'm going to come about right here. And I'm thinking about where I probably should place this figure based on my picture. I'm just going to put it like in my original, kind of standing up a little bit where the ocean's going to be. All right, and then my neck, think of what shape? Square. Body is going to be a rectangle. Try not to make your shoulders too wide. That's always what I end up doing, so shorten that top line a little bit. So I'm going to go in and just draw my top line. I still think I made my shoulders big. I always do that. I guess I wish I had some nice muscles. I'm going to now do equal lines on each side. Draw a line across, okay? And then for my arms, think about shape that is, rectangle. So I'm going to do right off the corner here. Imagine those are your shoulders. A rectangle. And the hands, I just like to do fists, but if you want to draw more details, like fingernails and fingers and stuff, you can do that. So circles for the hands. Legs are going to be rectangles. Feet are ovals. And then do your facial features. Think about your hair. If you have any of those little things that you made down here, it's got to repeat in your face up here. So I'm going to make sure that they look like the same person because that's supposed to be me too. This plumber's hair, I keep forgetting it's grown a lot since this summer, so I've got to bring that down. Do my little dot here that I have. Okay, so now I'm going to start to go in and decorate this. You can go in and you can make them pants and long shirts by just leaving them, but it's summertime obviously, or it's a really nice place that I'm at. It's supposed to be really hot. So I'm going to go in and give myself a t-shirt by just drawing a line in my arms, and then same thing for my legs. Now, I know that you can change the shape of your body if you want to be wearing a dress or a different type of clothing. That's fine to do that with your figure. If there's any way you know how to draw those shapes different, go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go ahead and just decorate my outfit a little bit and draw some designs and patterns. Okay, I kept it really simple for the video, but you want to go ahead and you want to add a lot of detail and take your time. Alright, so now I'm going to do the outside bubble shape, and the bubble shape is kind of like a cloud. It's just little U's that repeat in a big circle pretty much. So I'm going to start by coming above my figure I just made, and I'm just going to do some bumps. Make my way towards the portrait. Now, I don't know if I've told you this, friends, before, but if you just do a drawing of someone's head or face, that's called a portrait. So this is actually a portrait, but if you have the full body in there, it's the figure. So we are both a portrait and a figure in here. All right. So now I'm going to do little cloud shapes, little thought bubbles that get smaller as they get closer to the head that lead into it. So at this point, around your figure, really take your time. Think about what I had you think about earlier in your head. What objects are around you? Where are you going to draw behind you in your thought bubble to show us where you are? Break it up into simple shapes so we can understand what the drawing is, and then you can color it. So I've already colored mine. I've already had the detail. I'm not going to have you watch me do my beach scene because you're going to be having your own scene behind here. If you get this done and you'd like to email your examples to me or maybe to your teacher and they can share it on your Google Classroom, you're more than welcome to do that, friends. So I miss you guys. Hopefully at some point I'll get to see you soon, and when you get a chance, do your awesome Frida Kahlo inspired drawings. Okay, bye friends.